Get your daily dose of encouragement. Welcome to the Daily Dose with Coach V.
Back to the Daily Dose. You're here with your host, Coach V. And today we're talking about what you building. What are you building? In today's topic, we're going to discuss building a supportive community or building a community. And so the part that I want you to pay attention to today is the building of the community. Communities are not just meant for us to only show up in and to take from, right? To only always show up. You have those relatives that always show up at the cookouts. They know 6 months in advance. They might have been the one to play in the cookout, but they never ever bring what they're supposed to bring, right? Well, the same way you need the members of your community, whether it is they are your church community, family, neighborhood, whatever it is, the same way you need them, they need you. So you need to show up for your friends. You need to help them uphold their boundaries. You need to honor and respect their boundaries and not take your friends for granted. You need to show up and actually be a builder of communities. Well, if you need some direction on how to build your community, you say, hey, Coach V, you know what? I recognize that I took more from relationships than I actually gave. Well, that's a beautiful thing because now you are aware. You are now self-aware of something that may have caused some strain or brokenness in your relationships. And so now that you are aware, you allow yourself to adjust your mindset, your intentions, your perspective, so that you can become the type of person that is worthy of the community that you have been blessed to be a part of. And so as you allow God to help make you into that version of yourself, then you show up and you say, hey, let me see where I can be accountable. How can I bless someone else today? How can I encourage someone else today? I remember years ago, for a long time, God had me where I would send out this mass text message every week. And I would ask people, how could I pray for them? And that was me doing that because God had instructed me to do it. And when I got to a particular season where God says, I'm not going to have you do that anymore. And I kind of was like, well, maybe that's not God. Maybe I'm just tired and da-da-da-da. And I did everything I could to push past what I felt God telling me. And finally, I realized, Vivian, it's not that you work too hard. It's not that you're too tired. It's not God. Because in my mind, I was like, but that's a good thing. And people are being blessed by that. But that was the season of God was closing that door. And he showed me, you can still pray for people. I will still give you people to pray for. But the season where you're dedicating, that I'm calling you to send out this mass text message, that is not what you're going to do going forward. And he replaced that with other things that he had me assigned to do. And so I got a couple text messages of like, what's going on with you? Like, what's your problem? Like, what's happening? Basically in those in uncertain terms. But like one person said, hey, what's going on with you? What's your problem? What's happening? I ain't got a text from you. And it was like they weren't able to understand that in that season, that wasn't what God was calling me to do anymore. Not once did they think, how can I pray for her? Or maybe it was their time for them to step up in the community and send out a text or to spearhead that prayer mission. It just was no longer mine. Why did I mention that? Two things. We have to recognize when seasons are changing. We have to understand what it is that God has called us to do and also be aware of how he's shifting things within our community. Lord, what are you calling me to do? Is it now my turn to actually do this? And then the major thing I want you to understand is that when God has set a boundary for you, you do not let anyone change that boundary for you. They don't have to understand it because God didn't speak it to them. They don't have to understand it because they're not you. And you don't have to make them understand because you're not responsible for their understanding. You're just responsible for your obedience to God. Well, I want to thank you for being here with me at the Daily Dose. I'm Coach V. We thank you for joining us and we look forward to being with you again tomorrow. God bless you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for joining us at the Daily Dose. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share with others.